Last Saturday, I received one message on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my favorite all-time social networks. The message came from one of my dear connections, and it was really a simple message, just one line. The message said, and I quote, "I felt inspired, so I created this drawing." Now, the drawing in question is this one that you can see here. I was a bit surprised, I must say, because it's not the first time that I hear somebody inspired by virtual assistants, but it is the first time that I received a work of art from a person who was inspired by virtual assistants. Now, the virtual assistants is not a new thing. It started some 20 years ago in the United States. People have been providing services as virtual assistants for over 2 decades, but in Croatia, it is still very new. I conducted a research last year, and when I asked people, when is the first time that you heard about virtual assistants, many people said, just now when you asked me. So when I start talking about virtual assistants, I must say who they are, what they do. Virtual assistants are basically independent contractors, people who work from home or from their home office or from a co-working space. They provide services to businesses, to either business owners or to solopreneurs, small businesses, even to some corporations. The main difference between a virtual assistant and an employee is that a virtual assistant is not sitting together with you in the office. A virtual assistant is working from whatever location they choose from. Another thing is that when you hire a virtual assistant, you can hire them just for a couple of hours a week or just for a couple of hours a month, as long as you need them. You don't need to hire them full-time. Now, in the traditional environment where we are used to that when we need help, we go and hire people, people are still not used to this idea that when you're overwhelmed with work, when you feel like you can't do everything on your own, that it's okay to hire somebody just for the couple of hours a week. This is what virtual assistants do, and this is what they are great at. One virtual assistant can have more than one client. This is why you can afford to hire a virtual assistant just for a couple of hours a day. In Croatia, there aren't many, but I was not the first virtual assistant in Croatia. There were others before me. There are around, I would say, 100 virtual assistants today in Croatia, and most of us work for foreign clients, not for domestic ones. Now, the reason behind that is, of course, that domestic clients are not aware of all the advantages of hiring a virtual assistant, but we are working on that. And as I received this illustration as a result of somebody being inspired by virtual assistants, I get a lot of messages from small business owners who just now are discovering this opportunity, this possibility to hire somebody, and they're just overwhelmed. They're amazed, and they are also inspired, and they feel so lucky that they can transfer a part of their work to somebody else, that they can delegate. Now, delegation is sometimes hard, but it's the only way of a small business to go forward and to grow. There will come a time in each of little businesses when you can't do everything on your own. You have to either hire somebody or you have to hire a virtual assistant. So if you're not in the position to hire somebody full-time, think about hiring virtual assistants. One thing that I also need to say about virtual assistants is that they're people. So we are talking about real humans here. We are not talking about machines. We are not talking about robots. We are talking about people like me, like you, like anybody you know. And a virtual assistant can be a woman. It can be a man. It doesn't matter. What matters is, what do you know? What can you do? How can you help somebody? What skills do you have? What languages do you speak? What applications do you know how to use? Are you good at financial reporting? Are you good at marketing? Can you do some content creation? Can you maybe help HR with onboarding? These are all the things that virtual assistants do. Now, I started as a virtual assistant some 2 years ago when I was basically struggling to find a job that I will love doing. So I tried looking for a job outside of my current location, and I looked online because it is not the first time that I'm looking for a solution online. I'll admit it, I was looking for dates online. I even studied online, so why not look for a job online as well? In the past 2 years, I worked with several clients, some from Alaska, some are from Sweden, Netherlands, some even from Croatia, some from Canada. They're all very different from each other. And following that, what I was doing for them and with them was also different. So if I have a client who is in marketing, then of course I'm helping with marketing tasks, content creation, for example. If I have a client who is a big startup, who is now growing incredibly, then I will most probably be helping them with onboarding new employees. With the experience that I gathered, my clients became better from time to time. So you don't really pick clients. But when you get some experience, you start choosing clients. And I was lucky enough that I never had actually a bad client. I learned so much from them, and that's one of the things that cannot be compared to any day job, to any normal employment. When I think about the 17 years that I worked in corporations before I became a virtual assistant, it would be unfair to say that I didn't learn a lot then. I did, of course I did. But the 2 years being the virtual assistant, the amount of knowledge that I received here is something that cannot be compared with anything before. You learn fast, things move fast. You learn from different clients, you learn from different cultures, you interact with different people. This is the opportunity that you get when you work as a virtual assistant. When you work for just one company, you are in one environment. When you work as a virtual assistant, you're getting insights from so many different areas at the same time. So my learning curve has finally become something that is really exciting to look at. Before, it would happen that my learning curve was not really a curve at all. It would stagnate. Now, every day I learn something new. Every day I get better and better. And every day I also am more able to help other clients. What happened is, to me, that in the past few months, I don't have to look for new clients anymore. they are coming to me now. And I started rejecting clients because my day still has only 24 hours. Out of that, I can work for maximum maybe 10 hours, let's say it like that. And I started delegating my new clients to other colleagues. And if I can just give you one thing to go home with from this presentation today, that would be you can work, you can do business without stepping on your competition. This is something that I really learned from doing my own business, from being a virtual assistant. Now, we are all used to doing business in a way where you need to fight your competition. You need to be the best. You need to be the number one. Now, I'm going to tell you, you don't have to be number one. You don't have to be the best. I am not the best virtual assistant there is. There are others who are probably better than me. Not probably, I'm sure there are others who are better than me. But it doesn't matter, because we don't need to compare each other one to another. What we need to do is find clients who need exactly that, what we know. Because as we are different, clients are also different. And if we do things together, then we can do much more and we can do much better work than we can do alone. What I learned in the past 2 years, then when you start supporting your competition, it gives back. I could never be here today if I started fighting my competition a year ago. Instead, I started promoting my competition, I started helping them, and they started helping me as well. And this is also the reason that I'm now starting the Go2human Hub, where together with other virtual assistants, I hope to really create a much better service than I could do on my own, to help clients even better than I could now before starting the hub. The idea of a hub is all about helping. It's all about growing together. It's all about learning from each other, doing things together. I hope that in a year or 2 times, we will see it grow, that we will see virtual assistants who are in the hub as partners, not employees, but independent as well partners, and that we will see also Croatian clients who will start being inspired, who will learn about virtual assistants. Now, my last question is, are there virtual assistants on Mars? If you want them, there can be. Because when I became a virtual assistant, the world just opened up to me in a way that I cannot explain. I'm not such a good speaker to really explain to everyone what this means. I can only hope that you can get a small glimpse of an idea of the change from going from the traditional employment to this virtual assistance. The world literally opened up to me, and at the moment I can't imagine going back. The opportunities that you get when you realize that you can do work with anyone in the world, it really changes you. And whether you are just a student who is now looking for the first job, or you're retired and looking for something to fill up your time, think about becoming a virtual assistant. Think about trying it. It cannot hurt. And see you on Mars.